Okay, talking today about magnesium and hair regrowth or stimulation, hair loss, alopecia, male pattern baldness, all this stuff, all in one concise take. Basically, magnesium is used as a stimulant to the capillaries at the microcellular level, like on the, what do you call it, like as it applies to just right underneath the surface of the skin, changing the circulation, the local circulation underneath. And so it's not like over time, yes, magnesium builds up as in the tissues and saturates in certain areas and creates a better organism. And even the structural components that compose of everything, magnesium is part of every structural component too, from collagen to skin to epiderm and all these different proteoglycans. And so that's going to play a more long game role in covering and getting the right magnesium, the right level, the right purity, the right application of it over time. But in the short game, the microcirculation of the capillaries can be enhanced. And the thing about magnesium, especially transdermal magnesium, which is what we're recommending, is you can feel it. It's kind of like mint a little bit. You know, if you put on the head, it kind of has a circulatory sting, or, this kind of like you can feel something happening. Well, transdermal magnesium is like that too. If you get the right stuff. And so it has this tingling sensation, and that starts to bring about more of microcirculation. So it helps the capillaries to circulate and bring about new life there. Now, of course, it doesn't solve karmic issues or whatever you want to call it, like your own. If you have your own sickness or your own things that have, this can be connected to, or even genetics. It's not going to solve any of that. I mean, so there's certain things that must be accepted. Like me, I lost some hair too, and there was not much I could do to stave it off. And the reason was because it was a thyroid thing that was happening to me, and I couldn't figure it out for a while. So some things are much more complicated. But in a general way, as far as circulation and increasing. When there's not the sense of sickness or a deeper sickness or deeper genetics, which are keeping that from heredity or whatever, which is keeping you from being able to have that full head of hair or whatever it is, then the magnesium can play an interesting role in a large number of the population, a majority of the population. It can play an interesting role there. So what you want to use, I mean, I know that in Japan they also use it for the graying of hairs. They soak magnesium chloride, even though they have a baser form of it, which is not as pure, and it's been refined and solvent extracted and stuff. They still use this traditionally because it was made in the fabrication of caking and soy and tofu and stuff like that. So they always had this magnesium chloride available, and they use it for a lot of things, including bathing and just like a bath salt. It's like their Epsom salt. So they use it on the head as well to help with the grays and keep that dark color there. So it has that feature, and then it also helps stimulate the capillaries directly. I don't recommend going straight onto the head because sometimes it's so strong, unless you buy cheaper products where they dilute it and pretend to be helping you along because they diluted it for you so you don't have to worry about those stinging pains or whatever. But you want that. That's what you want. And so go progressively. Start a little bit on the abdomen, get used to it, and then build up to use it on your head all the time or weekly or whatever. And so you can actually use it with your hair. If you have a lot of hair, then just use it once a week or twice a week and just rub it all in and sleep on a pillow or whatever. Or just let it absorb 3 or 4 hours as you walk around the house, and then shampoo. You don't want to shampoo right away though. You want to give it an hour or two if you shampoo after that. It only takes 20 or 30 minutes to get into the bloodstream up there, but soap will go in and pull out some of the remainder. So you want to give that more time if you're going to shampoo after or whatever. So some people sleep on it. Some people just walk around and just let it sit throughout the day. So that's a good idea for that. We do get a lot of people buying the product for the hair feature, and the fact that you can feel it and you feel that stinging sensation, that tingling and all that, like is a positive experience for people. And because we know that what it can do for the graying of hair and some of these other anecdotal evidence, I guess you could say, like just from people and users reporting back, there's a potential for it to just help the hair in a general way on top of everything else. But on top of all of that, you're replenishing your magnesium levels through the brain or through the head or whatever. Like it doesn't pass the blood-brain barrier in that exact way, but through the skin, which is an acidic medium, and then through the lipid layers and the esters and the sugar layers, like the different type of sugars and esters that are in there, there is things that attach these molecules and do bring it into the brain area as food eventually. And that's how magnesium chloride is transformed in the body. All these L-form molecules that are patented that cost all this money, the threonates and the glycinates and all this stuff, these are not bad. We're not saying there's anything wrong with that, but the body does create that internally with magnesium chloride. When you eat your hydrochloric acid, breaks down your almonds or whatever, and you pull that magnesium apart, that extraction process creates that magnesium chloride once again. And so then the body reuses it. Now, it's hard to extract all of that, even for a young person, but especially with age. And so to get that perfect extraction, our ancestors had figured out to use the skin as well. And so they set up all this bath and Roman, Greek and Roman bath and spa culture of antiquity. So, and the source of which was a place called Magnesia in Greece. So we're coming back to these ancient traditions, but in a modern format. Don't get the fake stuff, get the right stuff. Don't get it with endocrine disruptors and estrogen mimickers, which come in the soft user in plastic bottles. The plastic bottles and the magnesium is a no-go. This is a game changer. It's not just a simple thing. It's like magnesium is so important in the body. You want to make sure it's pure. It's in glass, blue glass, and it always has the Zechstein Inside logo on it. There's many people out there that are using diluted products that have been chemically treated, that are imported from Asia, and then they're remarketed to look like they're from the Zechstein in the one city called Vindam in Holland where this is found. And this enormous discovery, which is thousands of years of magnesium, it's an enormous discovery, but it's pure, and so it doesn't need to be separated from anything. So they use these Zechstein terms abusively, genuine Zechstein or Permian or ancient or whatever they're using. Be careful, because if it doesn't have the logo, the Zechstein Inside logo on the bottle, then it's not coming from this batch-controlled source. Or you can't control it. You can't control from where it's coming from at that point. So they could be mixing a little bit of good with a little bit of bad. They can be cutting. There's a lot of things they could do. Once you have it with the logo, anyone can rescan that and know what's in it. And so there's a traceability there. And so you need that because there's a lot of cheaper products. So it's $3 a week if you get the right stuff. It's $1.50 a week if you get the cheap stuff. But it doesn't cost a lot to heal the deficiency. So don't go cheap in this exact area. Don't go cheap in such a ubiquitous commodity in the body's economy. Don't go cheap in that area. So come check us out at theheartoftradition.com and get yourself started.